Okay, well, welcome into Studio B. The practice has begun. You've done all the hard work of getting here. We are going to play, and that word is really intentional in today's practice. We're going to play with Peacock pose, which is a really majestic, powerful, beautiful pose. But I bring the word play into this because I really want you to approach it from a place of like, if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't happen, we just had fun trying to get there. Don't get overly attached to the outcome. The definition of play is doing something for the fun of it without necessarily being attached to any particular expectation or outcome. So that's the state of mind we want to bring into this Peacock practice. A few things about Mayurasana Peacock pose. We're really going to develop a lot of wrist, forearm, and shoulder strength and stability, and as well as upper back. So we're going to do a lot of things that are building that strength and that mobility in those parts of the body that you might be thinking, okay, when are we actually doing Peacock pose? It's coming. We're just going to do all those separate parts of it kind of piece by piece. Let's start straight away on all fours in classic cat and cow. So you can start to move the spine through the cat and cow. And we are straight away going to start to bring the awareness to the wrists. We really want to make sure we listen in this practice so that there's no pain in the wrist. Discomfort is normal. Stop the spine in neutral. Turn your fingertips to face the long edge of the mat and resume your cat and cow. And just noticing how now that awareness has moved maybe to a different part of the forearm, the inner elbows, maybe even the inner wrists. And then pause again in that neutral. There's an option to stay here if this is already at your edge, or turn the fingertips towards the knees. Now, before you resume your cat and cow, I want you to be aware of the palms of your hands. And with the palms of your fingertips, grip the mat a little bit so you feel that first knuckle lift a little bit. And then invite a softening into the elbows so that the bicep muscles can wake up. Keep that engagement and resume your cat and cows a couple of times. So we're feeling these bigger muscle groups of the arms helping to support the length of the arm as we start to open up the inner forearm and wrist. And then pause here in a neutral spine. Look slightly out in front of your inner wrist. Slide your left knee to the center of your mat and extend your right leg back and up. This is tiger pose. Your right leg is like the tail of the tiger when it's hunting. So it's kind of pointed back, alert, strong. This is about 3/4 of Peacock pose right here. Give yourself one more inhale. And then lower that right knee down. Micro little chaturanga here. Shift the body weight ever so slightly forward. Bend your elbows. Feeling the elbows slide on the outsides of the torso. Push the palms down, lift up, slide back. You're going to get off those wrists in just a second. Slide the right knee in towards the midline. Left leg comes back and up, tiger pose. 2 full breaths here. If you're feeling it in those wrists, really make sure you're using the pads of your fingertips. Soften the elbows, recruit the biceps. And then lower the left knee down, that micro chaturanga. Ever so slightly shift the weight forward. Deepen that bend in the elbows. It's like a reverse chaturanga. Full inhale, navel to spine. And then push the floor away. Walk those fingertips out to the side. Maybe just rock from right to left for a moment. And then fingertips come forward. Maybe rocking forward and back. And then bring the hips to the heels. Hero's pose, and just kind of flap your hands, releasing any tension in the wrists for a moment. We're going to take these micro pauses throughout the practice to release any build-up tension in the wrists. We're going to start to shift towards our sun salutations. We're going to do 4 rounds in this practice with several poses in the middle of each round. We'll start the first one from downward facing dog. So go ahead and walk the hands forward, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back, finding your first Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Pushing the floor away as you lengthen the outer body, letting those inner heels melt down. And then softening the knees, bringing them down towards the mat. Move the right thumb to the left thumb. Step your right foot forward for your first Anjaneyasana low lunge. Walk the hands up onto the right thigh. Give yourself a breath or two to just settle in. So we're going to take this Anjaneyasana into a diagonal orientation, and we're doing that so that we can start to wake up the posterior chain of the body. So we're going to take the arms forward, down, and back, and bring your spine into a diagonal alignment. Palms are hugging the outer sides of the, yes, very nice. And then I want you to bring your awareness to the left foot, the toenail side, and push the top of your left foot into the mat, almost to the point that you could hover your left knee. That's how powerfully you're pushing that left foot down. Really feeling the whole back body wake up. And then lower the palms to the floor. Step it back, downward facing dog, position 5. Shift forward to plank pose. This is like 3/4 of Mayurasana, Peacock pose right here. And then come all the way down to the mat. Lengthen your arms alongside your body, palms down. Untuck your toes and bring your big toes together. As you inhale, lift your head, your neck, your chest, and your shoulders. Push your palms down. Push the toenail side of your feet down. Breathe in this variation of Shalabhasana Locust for 3. Really waking up the upper back, 2. And then exhale, palms underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, shifting up and back, downward facing dog, position 8. Give yourself a big breath in. We'll take that lunge on the second side, left thumb to right thumb, left foot forward, finding that low lunge as you drop the right knee, hands to left thigh. Give yourself a breath or two just to arrive. When you envision a peacock, a lot of times the first thing we think of is the feathers. So you can really think of the back body, whatever leg is behind you, as an expression of those peacock feathers. So we will want lots of energy there. Let's start to take the arms forward, down, and back, creating that diagonal line with the torso. And then really bringing energy into the back tail feathers as you push the top of the right foot into the mat, almost to the point that you could hover your right knee. One more big breath in. And then hands come down, step your right foot forward to meet your left forward fold. Let's take a half lift, inhaling fully. Exhale, fold in. And then we'll rise to our first mountain pose of the practice, sweeping the arms out, up, maybe a back bend at the top. Sealing it out, palms are together. 3 more rounds. Inhale, lengthen those arms, standing tall. Exhale, palms together, 1. Inhale, reaching forward, up and back, 2. Folding over the legs, 3. Stepping left foot to the back of the mat. Lowering left knee down again to that Anjaneyasana low lunge. Walking the hands up onto the right leg. We're going to take eagle arms with a slightly different focus on how we practice Garudasana arms. So arms come out wide. Right arm underneath left. Wrapping the forearms, palms come together. You could always hold on to the thumb or have the backs of the hands together if the double wrap isn't quite accessible. Now for today, I want you to think elbows down and then pull the forearms towards you. Yes. Now you might be wondering, why are we doing it this way this week? Well, in Mayurasana, the arms come down towards the navel and push in towards the abdominal cavity. So we're wanting to cultivate that energy. One more breath here. And then straight back to downward facing dog, palms down, step it back, downward facing dog. We're going to take a pause here as you drop the knees to the mat, taking a few cat and cows in our tiger pose. Fingertips either to the side of the mat or to face the knees. And then tiger pose, extend your right leg back like your tiger's tail. 3 cat and cows, lift your right leg, look forward. Exhale, knee towards the nose, round the spine. 2 more. Inhale, looking forward, toes pointed, round the spine. Once more, forward, pause, find a lot of attention, straight line in the body, lean slightly forward, micro bend your elbows. Push the floor away, lower the right knee down. Switch sides, left leg comes back, tiger tail. Inhale, find your cow. Exhale, round to your cat. We're almost through. If the wrists are getting a little bit achy, round the spine. And then we take that chaturanga variation, finding that tiger tail, leaning slightly forward, navel to spine, fold in, push away. Lower the left knee, flip the hands to face forward again, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Moving through our vinyasa, shift forward to your plank. Lower all the way to the floor with control. Lengthen the arms alongside you, palms are down. Your forehead is down. I'm just keeping mine lifted so that my mic doesn't get snuffed. And then big toes together. Lift your toes, your shins, your knees, maybe a portion of your thighs. So just the back body lifting. Beautiful. 3, 2, energy into those peacock feathers. One more inhale. And then release the legs, palms under the shoulders, shift it up and back, downward facing dog. Big breath in. Looking forward, step the left foot forward. Right knee comes down. Getting ready for those Garudasana eagle arms. We take the arms wide, this time left arm underneath right, wrapping the forearms, and then remembering just for today, we're drawing elbows down and forearms in. So this is a really good reminder that there are a number of equally valid ways to practice a pose, depending on what it is you're trying to move towards. One more inhale here. That energy is down and in. And then unravel the arms, step the right foot forward to meet the left, fold. We're gonna come straight up to our mountain, sweep the arms out, up and back. Palms together. 2 more rounds. Inhale, lengthen the arms. Exhale, palms come in. 1, 2, reaching forward, up and back. 3, folding over the legs. Right leg is going to lead. As you step the right foot back, we're going to stay in a high lunge. Hands could come onto the left thigh. They could come to Anjali Mudra or sweep up towards the ceiling. Couple breaths here just to really feel some stability and strength in that high lunge. Really wanting to feel energy in that right leg as if it was that peacock feather. And then we're going to introduce one surprise bird into the practice today. So lower the hands down to the floor, straighten your left leg, variation of pyramid. Walk your fingertips back towards your right foot. Fingertips are facing the back of your mat. We'll take a couple breaths to fold in here. So inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, soften and let yourself round. You've got some weight in the fingertips to support the upper body. Really deepen the hamstrings here. And there's a surprise opportunity for flamingo pose here. So hop your right foot in about 1 to 2 big foot lengths. Left foot is going to stay at a slight diagonal. Fingertips are going to stay down. You bring your inner knees together and pop up into flamingo for 3, for 2. Yes, hello hamstring for 1. And then step it back, downward facing dog. Big breath in that downward facing dog. Lower both knees to the mat. Fingertips either come to the side of the mat or to face the knees. We're starting to really introduce a different component of our peacock pose, Mayurasana. Feel the pads of the fingers grip the mat. Micro bend the elbows, recruit the biceps. Look slightly in front of you, and you're going to step your feet back to plank pose. 1 foot, 2 feet, hold, 3. Let the biceps help you. Tone the core 2. Amazing work. Lower the knees. Gently walk the fingertips back straight forward. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Beautifully done. Float the right leg up, 3-legged dog. Shift forward to 3-legged plank. Chaturanga, three-legged. Maybe keep the right foot lifted, upward facing dog. Lower it, downward facing dog. Give yourself 3 breaths here. Peacock pose. You know, if you actually look at the body of a peacock, the body's quite small. So much of its mass comes from the feathers. So much of the energy of this pose is coming in whatever is kind of behind that's representing those feathers. Let's look forward, step the right foot forward. Finding that high lunge, hands either to thigh, to Anjali Mudra, or overhead. Just taking a couple of breaths to feel really stable here. And even though we're looking forward and our tendency is to really be thinking about the front half of the body, see if you can think about the back line of the pose. We'll come into that variation of pyramid. Hands come down, fingertips walk towards the back of the mat. We inhale to lengthen the spine and exhale to drop in for a few breaths. Feeling into where the hamstring is today. I'm noticing I actually had the opportunity to practice earlier, so my body's really receptive, whereas this pose is often really tender for me. So it's a nice change for it not to feel so aggressive in my body. We'll come into that surprise flamingo by hopping the left foot in a little bit, narrowing your stance, and really letting the arms and the fingertips support you, and then inner knees to come together, left heel to glute as you pop up and hold for 3. 2, biceps are here helping 2. And then releasing, step the left foot forward to meet the right. Ha. Come all the way up. Mountain pose 11. Seal it out 12. One more Surya Namaskaram. Inhale, stand tall, breathe in deep. Exhale, palms together, 1. Inhale, 2. 3, folding. Stepping left foot back, high lunge. Now we're going to take it into the diagonal just like we did in our low lunge in the first round. So we're going to sweep the arms down and back, find that diagonal line with the body. Find that strength all along the spine. Feel those muscles that surround actually the vertebra of the spine, erector spinae. We're going to come into warrior 3 as we launch forward, kick up the left foot, and find your flight. Feel the strength and the power in that left tail feather. 2. This is actually so much of the work of peacock pose right here standing up. And then step straight back. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, step back, downward facing. Inhale in your downward facing. Exhale, lower both knees to the mat. Last time in our tiger pose, either fingertips to the side of the mat or back towards the knees. You know the drill. Grip your fingertips. Soften the elbows. Recruit the biceps. Look forward. Either traditional plank or plank on the tops of your feet. Step back. 3. 2. 1. Lower the knees down. Fingertips forward. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. We get to do the 3-legged vinyasa on the second side. Float the left leg up 3-legged. Shift it forward, 3-legged plank. Keep it lifted, chaturanga. Maybe keep it lifted upward facing. Now lower it. Downward facing. Give yourself 3 breaths. Scientifically, I find it fascinating that we share so much DNA with most of our animal counterparts, including animals like peacocks. So much of our genetics is really similar. So when I'm doing poses like this, look forward and step that left foot forward. Sweep the arms up, high lunge. And then sweep the arms forward and down, finding your diagonal line. I actually can find it really comforting that I actually have a lot of the genetic intelligence of how to be like a peacock. It's in my DNA, just have to access it. Lean forward, find your flight. Feel that tail feather behind you, really activate. 3, 2, tapping into the intelligence and the majesty of that peacock. And then lower the hands to the floor, right foot next to the left, fold in. We'll seal out our sun salutation, circle sweep the arms out, up and back. Palms together. Taking our little micro pause here, release the arms, let the body soften, maybe the eyes close. Checking in about midway through the practice. If there's anything you need to shift or change. Making sure that you're really approaching the practice from a place of deep listening. And then we'll open the eyes, find something in front of you that's not going to move, where you can focus your gaze. We'll begin to move into tree pose as we shift the weight to the left foot and draw the right knee up towards the left inner thigh. Once you find your Vrikshasana legs, we're going to find Garudasana arms, eagle arms again, as we wrap a right arm underneath left, wrap the forearms, let the elbows drop and the forearms pull in. Honing in on that sense of focus and concentration. I'm really trusting my voice as we transition through Warrior 3 back to a lunge. So draw your right knee forward. You'll extend your right leg back. Pause for just a breath in Warrior 3 with those arms in eagle. And then keep moving back, right foot to the back of your mat. Find your lunge. Unravel the arms, side plank variation, right hand down to the floor, left arm up, and then walk your left foot to the middle of your mat. Left toes are facing the long edge of your mat and the pinky side edge of my right foot lowered down. Yes, good. Reach that left arm up, supported side plank. You could stay right here, or you could lift your left foot onto your right inner thigh for a side plank with tree pose. So you could use your left hand to lift your left foot, guide it into tree, and then reestablish your side plank. That right hand really gripping the mat like we've done the whole practice. Stay in your tree, left palm down, plank pose, left inner knee lifting away from the mat. Yeah. And then we're going to pivot one more time. Left knee either to the floor or hovering, right arm up. 2. Really waking up all that 3D circumference of the core. Look down, step it back, downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa here as you shift forward. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Take a child's pose. Bring your hands alongside your body, maybe roll your wrists. So even peacocks don't have their feathers displayed all the time. They fold them in like a compact little fan much of the time. Don't need to show off everything they can do all the time. Lifting the head, looking forward, walk the hands forward, returning Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing. And then walking or stepping the feet to the front of your mat space. We'll take a half lift here. Inhale. Exhale, dropping in. Inhale, picking you up. And shifting into the sequence immediately as the weight glides to the right leg, left leg comes up into tree. Once you feel stable in the legs, starting to build your eagle arms, left arm is underneath right. And for today, elbows are down, forearms are in. The stability that you feel in the tree now is the same stability we want to find when we come into our side plank. Start to pass through that warrior three, left knee forward, and then send the left leg straight back, feeling the strength of the back seam of the body. Pause for that breath. And then control as you step your left foot to the back of your space. Give yourself an inhale. And then lower that left hand down, right arm up. Let the right foot walk to the outer edge of the mat, supported side plank. This is a really good place to stay. Or if you wanted to come into the tree, use your right hand to pick up your right foot and find that Vrikshasana position, right foot on left inner thigh. Then looking down, right palm down, you pass through plank, and it's like there's a magnetism of two magnets pushing away from each other as your inner right knee comes away from the floor. Yeah. Now see if you can keep it hovering as you start to drop right knee towards the mat. Left arm reaches up, the obliques fire up. 2. And then you look down, step back, either down dog or move through a vinyasa to kind of iron it out. Child's. And then walking the hands in, lifting up, we've come to the sort of culminating play part of the practice. And we're going to do 3 different rounds of play, okay? So really think of this truly as play, as if you were stacking blocks. You're going to try it one way. The first time, if it doesn't work, you've still got 2 more chances to give it a shot. And since we know this is being recorded, there's an inevitable number of times that you could come back and replay this to try again. So this is going to start, we're going to keep our head down as support. And I'm going to show this really quickly so you have a visual. So just watch for a quick moment. We're going to have the knees about the width of the mat. And just like we've been doing the whole practice, we're going to have the fingertips facing back. And I'm going to try to snuggle my elbows towards my navel. So they're really low towards my belly. My fingertips are back towards my feet. Pinkies are touching. I'm going to drop my head down like a sort of kickstand and walk my feet back to plank. So I drop my head down, my elbows are in my navel, and then I walk my feet back to plank. Okay? So that's what we're going to do the first round, and then we'll build on that. So move towards the front third of your mat space and take your knees the width of your mat. Okay? Then bring the pinky fingers together and drop the fingers towards the floor and tuck them back towards your big toes. If for women or females, we might have to tuck in the girls a little bit. Elbows are coming towards your navel. Okay? Firm up the abdomen, tuck your chin, crown of the head down. And then this is the hardest part. Wiggle 1 foot back at a time into plank. And 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees, palm down, push into the hands, sit back. Good job. That was 1 round of play. The second time, I'm going to cue the option of lifting the head so that you're just on the balls of your feet and your hands, okay? If it doesn't feel like it's available, you just stay there. We're only doing 3 breaths, which is about 15 seconds, okay? Round 2 of play. Knees wide, pinkies together, tuck them in, elbows towards the navel. Tone the core, tuck the chin, head down. Feel the palms anchoring, Walk the feet back. Maybe lift the head. 3, 2, 1. Knees down. Sit back. Rest. Good. I like to shake it out in between. Okay. Third and final time, and then I may give you a bonus. Third time, I'm going to give you the option to lift one leg for one breath, lower, breath 2, breath 3, lift the opposite leg, lower, and get out of there. Okay? Last time. So we come to the front third of the mat. Knees are wide. Tone that core so we've got a hard surface to be on. Pinkies together, hands back. Elbows towards navel, head down. Walk the feet back. Maybe lift the head. Maybe lift one leg, breathe. Lower, breathe. Maybe lift the other. Lower, and out of there. Beautiful. I am going to give you one bonus that for me typically makes me feel better. And this is one that you're not going to have the wrists flipped. This is when the palms are like this. So we've been doing it this way. Pinkies touching, fingertips back. This one, thumbs touch, fingertips face forward. We still get the elbows in towards the navel. So this is how the forearms look, but fingertips are up. And we're going to keep the legs in a diamond shape. So it looks like this. You could either try this now, or if your wrists are done, you want to try it a day or two from now, when you're feeling a little bit more resilience in the wrists, you could try this. So my fingertips are going to face forward. I tuck in, elbows are still towards the navel. I plant my palms, I look forward, I really tone up my core nice and strong, and then lift. So what's nice about that one is that you're much more compact in terms of your physicality. You use the glutes to pick yourself up a little bit, but it can be a little bit easier to feel that tipping moment to find the balance. Let's round out this practice. So hips to the middle of the mat. Extend your legs forward. Hug that right knee in. Half Gomukhasana. Right knee over left. Right foot is outside that left hip. Flex that left foot quite actively. Circle seat the arms. And fold forward. If you want to feel more IT band, flex the left foot more actively. If you need less, relax the left foot. Starting to lift the head, look forward, coming up. Ardha Matsyendrasana A, right foot outside the left knee, sweeping the arms out and up. And then left hand to right knee or hooking right arm behind you and twist. Poses like this are very classical poses, but are also sometimes a little bit out of reach for many of us. And so in that way, they become a really great tool for learning to practice without attachment, but instead for play. Look forward, unwind the spine, unravel the right leg, reach your arms up, bring your hands behind you, fingertips facing forward, bend your knees, push down, lift up for 3, 2, Lowering the seat down, Ardha Gomukhasana, second side, right leg extends, left knee on top of right, left heel is outside that right glute. Circle sweep the arms and fold in. So for me, poses like this that, quite frankly, I can't do the full pose, not the classical one anyways, are a really good mirror for me to notice my own self-criticism, often where I will push myself beyond my natural or safe abilities. But if I can view the practice through the lens of this is just a playful experiment, then I become much less harsh on myself. We'll start to come up, finding our way into our spinal twist as we bring the left foot outside the right leg. Don't shortchange yourself, lengthen the arms up, and then guide yourself into your twist. And if I can let go of my attachment to the final pose, I actually can find incredible value and joy in all of the experimentation that leads up to it. Even if the final classic pose is never achieved. Let's look forward, lengthen both legs. You could repeat the upward facing table with the knees bent, or hands come behind you, fingertips forward, bring the big toes together and down, and then push up, lift up. 3, 2, 1, lowering the hips. And we'll prepare to come onto our backs as we shimmy forward. We'll take one brief happy baby pose. So as you land on your spine, drawing the knees in, feet up towards the ceiling, letting the tops of the thighs melt down. Just about 3 to 4 breaths to let ourselves arrive on our backs. And then as you're ready to release that happy baby, extending the legs and the arms, moving towards our final resting pose of Shavasana. We'll do one full body tense and release in this practice to really help encourage the body to relax. So to prepare for that, take a nice full inhale. Exhale completely. And make fists with the hands, point the toes, tense every muscle in the body as you inhale, lift your legs, your arms, your head, squeeze, tighten. Release. Seeing if you can forget the body. Allowing yourself to be completely still. For just 1.5 minutes. If you'd like to stay in your Shavasana for a longer period of time, feel free to do so. If this is the time you dedicated for your practice, allow the breath to deepen. And subtle movement to enter the fingers and toes. Maybe extend the arms overhead for a full body stretch. And then in your own way and in your own time, making your way back up to a comfortable seat. Taking a moment just to appreciate the spirit of play that we welcomed into the practice today. And recognizing that this approach of curiosity and experimentation and playfulness may help lighten our experience of a number of challenging situations. You're never too old to play. Let's bring the palms of the hands together, sealing this practice with the hope that there be peace and joy and love and light in the universe, which in Sanskrit sounds like this: Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Victory to our practices,